Today's lecture is on the motility and autonomic control in digestive system. What do we mean by this? That is the movement of food within the digestive system, and we're going to see how you have how this food moves within the digestive system. And when we say autonomic, it means that involuntary, that is the involuntary movement of the uh, food within the digestive system. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is motility. What do we really mean by motility in the digestive system? It is muscle movement, that is, the way the muscle moves within the digestive system in order to propel, in order to move the food forward. The movement of food through the digestive system is actually supported by the movement of these muscles. And these muscles are smooth muscles. You know, we have different types of muscles. These particular muscles that are present in the digestive system and it aids the movement of food from one organ to the other. They are smooth muscles and their movement is actually involuntary and it involves with breaking down and the mixing of food. So when they move, when the muscles move in different, in different ways, we're going to look at the different ways by which they move. It results into the breaking down and the mixing of foods within the digestive system. And the actions of muscles within the digestive system actually facilitates or enhance or make it fast. That is, it facilitates the movement and the digestion of the food or the digestion process within the food in the gut or uh, uh, in the digestive system. And this movement actually starts from the esophagus. Now we're going to look at how the movement is and the name that are given to different movements within the different organs of the digestive system. So, like I said, the movement starts from the esophagus. In the esophagus, we have a wave-like contraction and relaxation of muscles. This, when we say wave-like, that is, the movement is like a wave. It moves, like this, like a wave. But it is actually about the contraction and the relaxation of muscles. When the muscles contract and relax, the muscles will contract to push the foot forward, and when in the front, it's going to relax. Behind the foot, you have contraction of the muscles. In the front of the muscle, you in the front of the foot, you have relaxation of the foot. So this moves the foot forward, and this movement is involuntary. Like I said the other time, it's autonomic, and this type of movement is because it moves the foot forward, it propels the foot forward. And this type of movement is called peristalsis, and it's a forward movement. That is, we say is propels, or we say it is a propulsion. That's a propulsion, or we can simply say that it propels the foot forward. That is, it moves the foot forward. So it moves the foot forward by contraction towards the stomach. So when it gets to the sphincter there, the esophageal sphincter will open. Then, when the food now gets to the stomach, the movement continues with the relaxation and the contraction of the esophageal sphincter, like I've said, into the stomach. Now, the stomach now accommodates the food, but the muscles of the stomach actually needs to contract, they contract and relax too. You have the contraction and the relaxation of the muscles of the stomach. And this movement is also called a peristaltic movement. That is, it is peristalsis too, because it also involves the contraction and the relaxation of the muscles, contraction at the back of the foot and relaxation in front of the foot, and it helps to move the foot forward. And as it pushes the foot forward, it also mixes the food. So it pushes the foot forward towards the next organ, which is referred to as the pyloric sphincter. uh, to the next organ, but through the pyloric sphincter. Pyloric sphincter is like a door that opens into the small intestine. So, but there is a muscle there too that had to tighten up and had to relax. So the muscle there had to relax in front of the food for the food to enter. But at the back, when the food has entered the small intestine, it has to tighten up. So you have the contraction back. Then in the small intestine, you have the contraction of muscles. The contraction of the muscles aims at chopping, that is, cutting the food again into small chunks and mixing the food with the enzymes that are present there. In this case, when you have the contraction of the muscles of the small intestine appears as if they are being cut into, different segments. It will be, we have a situation where the muscles will be contracting, they'll be contracting and they'll be appearing as if they're about to cut into different pieces. So that type of contraction is what we refer to as a segmentation. There are strong contraction of muscles. These are strong contractions of muscles. And you also have strong contractions of these muscles in order to clear the undigested foods and microorganisms. In the small intestine, that is where you have most of the digestion of most of the nutrients or the food substances taking place. So the undigested foods that are there needs to be clear together with the microorganisms, needs to be clear out of the digestive system, out of the small intestine. Digestion takes place in the breaking down of most of the foods are started and completed in the first part of the small intestine, that is the duodenum, and the absorption takes place in the jejunum, that's the second part. Now, by the time as the food is mixing and as the muscles are contracting in a segmentation form, you have the undigested foods moving towards the latter part of the small intestine, which is the ileum, until it moves now into the large intestine. So the strong contraction of muscles in order to clear the undigested foods and the microorganisms from the small intestine is being referred to as a migrating motility complex, MMC. We refer to that as migrating motility complex. Now, the food now move the unabsorbed nutrients, that is, the unabsorbed foods, food waste, the ones that are not absorbed within the small intestine, they now move to the large intestine by contraction of the muscles, like I said earlier. And this contraction of the muscles, the movements and the contraction of the muscles in that case is also referred to as a peristaltic movement. So, which means that it moves by the peristaltic movement into the large intestine. The muscles in the large intestine contract slowly, not, they contract slowly, not as fast and as intensive or as strong as you have it in the small intestine. Because in the large intestine, the only thing that you have that is taking place really there is absorption of some nutrients that were not absorbed there, especially the water. Then you have some electrolytes that have been absorbed at that place. So the muscles don't really have to contract strongly. So, but the type of contraction that you have there is slow, but is referred to as a segmentation. So you have the first type of contraction of muscles that you have that take place when the food enters the large intestine is segmentation. So after the absorption of water has taken place, you have the movement of the muscles being changed to peristalsis movement. That is peristaltic movement. This is in order to move the food, the waste, which has now become stool, down to the rectum. Because at this time, the food or the waste food, the unwanted food substances that are there is now in solid form. They don't have water there again. They don't have much water, so it has become solidified. It needs to move to the rectum, and it moves to the rectum by peristaltic movement. Then we need to look at the autonomic control in digestive system. I said when you have the contraction of the muscles, you have the contraction of the muscles. When you have the muscles being contracting, you have the food being moved forward. The muscles that are contracting in the digestive system, these muscles are referred to as the smooth muscles. But the muscles, when they contract, they're not being told. You're not the one, it's not an individual that determines the contraction or the relaxation of these muscles. It is involuntary. It comes, that is, when we say involuntary, it's an involuntary action. This contraction and relaxation of muscles within the digestive system is not controlled by individual. It is an involuntary action. And why does this one happen? This one is possible because the wall of the digestive system from the esophagus down to the anus, they are connected, even from the mouth, they are connected to the nervous system. And so the type of the nervous system that is present on the walls of the digestive system or that is lined with the wall or digestive system is referred to as enteric nervous system, ENS. This nervous system runs from the esophagus down to the anus and it regulates movement. That is, it is concerned with the movement of food. It is also concerned with the secretion of digestive enzymes and as well concerned with the blood flow. That is, absorption of the blood within or absorption of the blood into the digestive absorption of the flow of the food, digested food substances into the blood so that it will be carried around the body. Now, it is located, this nervous system is located in the wall, the layers of the wall, and the layers where the nervous system is located is referred to as the submucosa and the muscular layers of the wall of the system. That is the first layer of the wall and the second layer of the wall of the digestive system. This nervous system is actually arranged in two networks. You have them be arranged in two networks side by side. The first network is referred to as a myenteric plexus, while the second one is referred to as a submucosal plexus. The enteric plexus controls the peristaltic movement of the muscles, while the submucosal plexus controls the segmentation of the muscle. So while the enteric plexus controls the peristaltic movement. The other one, which is submucosal plexus, it controls the segmentation of the muscles. So, which means that we have different nervous network or nervous system controlling the different network of the ENS, the enteric nervous system that controls the peristaltic movement and another one controlling the segmentation movement of the muscles in the digestive system. The ENS, that is the enteric nervous system, is actually subdivided into, or is actually a division, that is a part of the peripheral nervous system. You see, the nervous system in the body of human beings is divided into two. You have the central nervous system and you have the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is actually made up of the brain and the spinal cord, while the other parts, the other nervous systems in the body are made up or are described or they come under the peripheral nervous system. So the enteric nervous system actually comes under the peripheral nervous system. So and the uh, peripheral nervous system actually influences the enteric nervous system. So the influence of the enteric nervous system is actually being influenced by autonomic nervous system. So what we are trying to say is that we have the movement of muscles within the digestive system. The movement of the muscles within the digestive system controls the movement of food, that is, the contraction and the relaxation of muscles within the digestive system controls the movement of food. The propelling, that is, the movement of the food within the digestive system, controls the breaking down of food within the digestive system. And these movements are of two types. You have the peristaltic movement and you have the segmentation movement. The peristaltic movement occurs in the esophagus and part of the stomach, while the segmentation occurs in the small intestine and the large intestine. And these movements are controlled by enteric nervous system. The enteric nervous system is a nervous system that lines the wall of the digestive system right from the esophagus down to the anus. And the enteric nervous system, they are in two networks. Bore in the that is they are deep bore in the wall of the digestive system. These two networks are the submucosal plexus and the other one mesenteric plexus. The mesenteric plexus, I said, controls the peristaltic movement, while the submucosal plexus controls the segmentation movement. And like I said the other time, it is the autonomic nervous system is a subdivision of the peripheral nervous system, and it is actually an involuntary system that controls an involuntary action. You may have interest to go online and visit this link to actually see the movements of the animation of the movement of food within the body of within the digestive system in the body of human beings.